So, hello everybody. Welcome to Design Tools question and answer session for week one. We are doing a special one where where we are going to actually have the lecture for it, and I apologize for audio in the background. There is a D&D game going on in the background, so shenanigans may be happening back there. So, all right. So, let me go ahead and switch to regular view here. Doink. So, I apologize ahead of time for the noise. Yes. Yeah, you can't delete it, Evan, because you have to uninstall it first and then reboot. So, yes, we're going to go over all of the stuff. Joshua, we're going to go over everything. So you'll get a fresh lecture for version control. Isn't that nice? All right, so let's get started here. I guess I can go ahead and put it into view here. Hey! Let me go ahead and... So what we're going to do is we are going to have the regular lecture, and then we'll go into questions on things like that. So if you have questions, make sure that you fill them in, or you type them in on Twitch. Or not Twitch, Discord. And I will happy to answer them, all right? So here we go. So, version control, or how to protect your project. Now, why are we learning this? Why? So this is the question that I like to answer first on pretty much all of my lectures. Because when I was in school, specifically like middle and high school and stuff like that, they would never tell us why. Why are we learning this? Because. Okay, because why? I'd like to know what applications it was for, and it's even okay if they would have said you're going to need this to learn this for something later on. It's going to build on that. I would have been completely okay with that, but they never said that. So now, me as a teacher, I get to actually fix that problem. So why are we going to do this? Why are we using version control? Why can't we just, email stuff around and, use Google Docs or whatever? So here's why. So first thing it does is allows multiple people to work on the same project at the same time, doing different things. Now, if you're just working on a plain document, sure, Google Docs will be fine, and that'll be okay, as long as you're okay with Google being able to see that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. All right. So when you are working on one system or another, other people can have other open files, and you don't have to pass around that, and you don't have to run into that horrid feeling of, do I have the latest version? Because you can tell right away. All right. If something happens, you can go back to a previous version. So if you've ever used certain programs and you've been working on them and suddenly the program crashes and takes the save file with it, that happens. And with version control, you can actually go back to a previous version. Just reload it. Isn't that nice of it? All right. And it's not just, software crashing. Sometimes it can be hardware issues. Your computer fails or something happens. Or even like malware. Things come in and encrypt your stuff. And, hey, I want, 3 Bitcoin for your data back. Yeah, no. So version control could help you with that. All right. If you accidentally delete or change a file you don't want, same thing. We can go back to a previous version. It can also help you keep track of any changes. Like, who wrote that? Who broke the build? And you can tell who did that, right? So that's pretty cool. Now, let's go ahead and choose a flavor. Let's talk about choosing your flavor, right? So there are many different versions of version control. Imagine that, right? So most popular of everything out there is Git. All right. So Git is pretty big. Yeah, so most people use this. In general, use Git. All right. We have then SVN, which was one of the really popular ones that kind of predates Git. So SVN's fairly popular. Perforce is big out there. It's pretty big, actually. And StarTeam costs some money. So yeah, Perforce costs money too if you use a lot of people. And the one that I started on first was Alien Brain. So this was actually kind of weird. It's kind of alien if you want to put it that way, right? This one's actually targeted more for artists. So it's the first one that I learned. We had a license for it at Full Sail and all that kind of stuff. And there are many other different versions as well. For example, I mean, anybody and their brother can take the source code and build a new version of it specifically tailored for them. So there are a bunch of different ones out there. But really, we are probably most interested in the game industry, right? Because forget all those other ones, right? We want to know what the game industry has to say. All right. So I did a really unscientific study of the people I know on Book of the Faces, right? So I got all kinds of people on there, people from QA people all the way up to like, Ramiro and people like that. So, and pretty much all of them replied. Like, it's like the second most replied post I ever had. All right. So here are the numbers. And these numbers, what I did was I went through them and I counted them up and I removed people I knew were in the same company. So if I got like 5 from like EA or something like that, I would just, count that as 1. So here are the numbers. All right. Number 1 by a little less than half was Perforce. Like, we're talking like a percentage point or 2. All right. And then followed shortly by Git. All right. So these two were the top 2. Each one being about 48%. And then followed greatly by Alien Brain, because we had like a bunch of people from Full Sail that went out and just kept using Alien Brain. And then the rest were just a smattering of the others, like 1, maybe 2. So we're going to use Perforce to get started, because one of the nice things about once you learn it, it's pretty easy to move to other ones. All right, so let's move on. If you're having questions and you're typing in chat and you're not seeing me respond, sorry, I can't see it right this moment. I will look at it in a second. Okay, so let's talk some terminology here, because each one is specific and there are things that people call everything. All right, so like facial tissues. Nobody calls them facial tissues. Everybody calls them like Kleenex or the large garbage bins, out behind a company or at a a housing complex, or where everybody puts their garbage in and then the truck comes by and picks it up. Everybody calls those dumpsters, right? That's a trade name. It's like Velcro. Nobody calls it hook and loop tape. So here's where we're going to go terminology. All right. So first one we're going to do is a repository, also known as a server or a depot, not to be confused with suppository. Both are a pain in the ass, but it's where your data is stored. So once it leaves your machine and it's in that kind of that unknown place, it's in the repository. All right. We have revision. Okay, so revision is a version of your file, and every time it changes, it gets a new identifier. Now, most of the time that identifier is a number, like version 1, 2, 3, 4, or revision 1, 2, 3, 4. And it keeps going up. So revision. And finally, we have commit. So that's the act of taking a file and submitting the changes to that file to the repository. All right, in which point that file gets a new revision number, even on your first one. So your first revision will be revision 1 in Perforce, for example. All right, how's that sound? That sound good? So, let's get started. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the program, and we're going to go ahead and run through this stuff here. So bear with me a second here. Boink. All right. So on the FSO page for the assignment, let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys real quick. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go to preview. Okay, so this is for last month, but it's still the same. So we're going to go in here to version control, all right? So we're going to go in here, and then we're going to scroll, well, you'll see right here it says install files.zip, all right? So this is the one we're interested in right now. So I'm going to click on that and just download it. I've downloaded it a few times already. So in version control assignment, you have install files.zip. And the reason why I have this is for multiple reasons. First one, it's a lot quicker to download it from right here because Helix's website can be a little daunting because they change stuff all the time. Sometimes they require you to register before you can download, and sometimes that email, even the confirmation email, can take up to a day to come back. All right. And that's really horrible when you're trying to work through your stuff, right? So, and we need to stay on the same version. Yes, Evan, you need to install both Helix files. All right, so we're going to go to the install files.zip once we have that downloaded. And what's really cool about this is we've already got everything here. We're going to go into install files. Ignore that one. It's just because it was opened on a Mac one stinking time. All right. And anybody want to guess which one we want to run first? If you said install first, that's the one you want. Okay, so we're going to go into install first, and you'll notice here it says Helix Versioning Engine x64. All right, we do not need to extract this because it's only one file we're going to use here. All right, so we'll just go ahead and double click this and hit run. Wait for a second. Answer yes to the burning question. And we're going to let this install. Now, if you've installed this before, sometimes these installs can take a little bit longer. So just keep that in mind. All right. So here in this, where it's asking us, what do we want to install? Make sure you turn off command line client, or the next install is going to complain pretty badly. So I'm just going to click on this little drive here and choose this file, or this feature will not be installed and will be uninstalled if already installed. Say that like 10 times fast, right? This feature will not be installed and will be uninstalled if already installed. All right. Okay, so we're going to hit next on this. Okay, so if you know what a port number is, all right, if you don't worry about it. And you know you're already using this port number, change it. Otherwise, leave it alone. Okay, so we're going to leave this alone here because we want it to go there. All right, we're going to hit next. And then we're going to hit start. Gonna let it run. Yes, Evan, you definitely need to reboot after that because then you're gonna go delete the files and then start fresh. All right, so we're gonna hit finish up here, and we're actually done with the first part. Now, what's happened is it's actually installed the server for this. Now, we're doing it this specific way because I don't want you to have to fight your internet connection or other people while you're trying to learn this, because this is very important that you be able to handle this. All right, and it's a lot faster anyways. So, all right, let's continue on here. So I'm going to go down here back to install files. So you see how I have this install files here. I'm going to click on that. And then we're going to go install second. And then we're going to find p4v inst64.exe. All right. We're just going to run that. This is, and we'll just hit run on this here. Answer yes to the question. All right, here we go. So we're just going to hit next on this one. If you changed your port number, please change it here. Right, so make sure it's changed here. This is kind of the default place it's going to go to. Since we're running on our local machine, just leave the port number there. All right. Next, if you have a favorite text editing application, like let's say Notepad++ or Programmer's Notebook, you can use that here. All right. I'm going to leave this alone. Notepad is just fine. All right. And default username, it's whatever. You're going to change that anyways. All right, so once we have that, we're going to hit next and then hit start. Yes, yeah, you can. And then we're going to let this run and wait for an awkwardly long amount of time. So, yeah. All right, well, while this is waiting, I'll be right back. I'm going to see if I can get the guys to quiet down just a little bit. Did it finish? Yes, it did. All right. So let's continue on. Let us continue on. Okay. So I'm going to hit finish here. All right. Now we can close this out. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back over here. Yes, I have a second monitor running, and if you've never used a second monitor with a computer, you don't know what you're missing. All right, so let's continue on. All right, so we've got everything installed. Now, here's one of the things that kind of changes from the... It's okay, Evan. I'm disappointed. Here's one of the things that change from the recorded videos. So between the time that I recorded the videos and now, Microsoft has decided to be a bit more aggressive with their OneDrive, and that ends up being a real pain. All right, so one of the things it does is it will move files while you're using them. All right, and the programs have no idea where the file goes. So you'll suddenly be like working on something and it'll just break. And that's wonderful while you're trying to save stuff. And you're like, hey, this is not working. It's expecting files to be places. So to work around this, really what you should do is just uninstall OneDrive. Unless you specifically like using it, it just causes heartache. So to make sure everybody is on the same page, what I like to do is, and I know this is kind of evil, what I like to do is to run my, let's not go there already. I like to put it directly in my C drive. I know this is painful for some of you. So if you just go ahead and open up this PC, or you can click down here, you go to your C drive, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder here. Actually, I'm going to create two, but one that's really important. So I'm going to right click down here and choose New Folder. All right, because part of the reason I'm doing this is because your desktop and your My Documents folder are both monitored. So it'll rip those out of your hands so easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and name this. I'm going to name this Perforce _ workspace. All right. In this case, capitalization really doesn't matter. All right. So I'm going to hit enter on there, and I've created that. So we'll talk about the other folder in a little bit. So let's go ahead and leave that there, and I'm going to minimize this for the fun of it. And let's go ahead and open up Perforce. Now, I'm going to hit start, and you'll see Perforce stuff directly up here. We're going to ignore that because it's not always going to be there. So to find it, we're going to click on a letter. We're going to click on P for Perforce. All right. And then we're going to find Perforce. See right there, it says Perforce. Click on that. And we're going to find the P4V right here, the Perforce Visual Client. So this is the part that you're always going to be working with. All right. So I'm going to click on that. And up pops this window. I'm so waiting on what Mick has to say. What? No. Those are installers. those aren't meant to run normally. Okay, so here we go. Our server, we're going to leave this alone for now since it's on our local machine. Now, when you get into other parts of it where you're connecting to our servers at Full Sail, or you're connecting to a work server, you will need to put in the address right here. All right. So just keep that in mind. But since we're using our local stuff, we're just going to hit, we're going to have that. All right. So next is our user. So it automatically filled it in from what we had last time. But it hasn't actually created the folder, or it hasn't created the user itself. So let's go ahead and create one. So I'm going to hit new right here. All right, and that's going to open up this little window right here. Okay, so username. All right, in this case, you can use whatever you want, because, well, that's kind of fun. So if you want to do, I don't know, Blazeman420, I don't know, you can, because later on, you're going to have to use a more professional name, either at Full Sail or at work, because they probably won't be too happy with that. So, enjoy making your username right now, but I'm going to be kind of boring and use that one. All right, so full name. So it's easier to tell who did what. Whatever you do, don't just put your boss's name in here, right? Okay, password. We didn't set up a password for a system, or require our system's not requiring a password, so we're going to leave that blank. In email, we're going to fill in an email. Now, it doesn't have to be your email. It doesn't even have to be a real email. It just has to be properly formatted. All right. So, I'm going to put in my Full Sail email here just because. Yes, staff has .com because we've had them longer than students have had email here. So, all right, so we've got our username, our full name, no passwords necessary, and our email, or a properly formatted email. Okay, so I'm going to hit save on that. Okay, so that's done. Next, we need to set up our workspace. So this is where all the files are going to land on our machine. So it's that folder that we created. So I'm going to hit new here because we need to create a new workspace. All right, so the next thing here, it's actually going to show us a generated workspace name. So our username and our computer's name. So let me go ahead and change that just because it makes it easier to find. All right. So I'm naming it Perforce_workspace. All right. So this next part is very, very important. All right. Because if it's not set up properly, it can cause you headaches later on. All right. So let's talk about the software. All right. Perforce is professional software. It's not meant for normal end users. It kind of expects a little bit of proficiency in computers. So not for grandma or mom and dad. Well, okay, maybe mom and dad, but not meant for novice users. All right. That being said, it will give you errors, but just not when you expect them. All right. So nothing's idiot proof because we're always making better idiots, right? So we need to set up our workspace root. This is the actual folder. All right. If you notice here, it's already got something filled in. So C, users, odd guy, Perforce workspace. Let me open that for you. So let me try to open that up. Doink. Paste and run. It doesn't exist. In fact, that folder does not exist, nor does the one before it. So if we actually open that up, so we go into users, there is no Perforce folder here. All right. So just keep that in mind. All right. So I'm going to hit browse here, and I'm going to actually choose the folder I want. All right, so it's going to be on the root of C in this case. So we're going to go to Perforce workspace. All right, so we're going to go into it and hit select folder. Okay, that's all we need to do in here. All right, so I'm going to hit OK on this. Doink, and that is now filled in. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK on this, and we're going to get started here. Now, the first thing that's going to pop up is this Add Files wizard. All right, that is because our repository, our depot, does not have any files in it. All right, this is not a normal state. This is probably something you'll never see again, because the person setting up will probably set some sort of folder structure up and maybe put some files in it for you. So this is just saying, hey, do you want to just add your stuff in? Maybe you're starting. Also, maybe you've already started your project and you're importing your data. That's what this is for. Since this is not something you're going to use, we're just going to cancel out of this. So let's hit cancel. Sorry, are you sure to cancel the wizard? Well, I mean, since we do play warlocks in our in necromancers in D&D, we're going to cancel the wizard, right? All right. So the next thing is going to ask you, do you want to automatically check? No. No, we do not want to automatically check, because we need to stay on this version for now. So we're going to hit no. Otherwise, it's going to nag at us, right? We don't want that. You're going to have another one that pops up if this is your first time installing Perforce. If that one pops up, it's going to ask you, do you want to submit anonymous statistics? That's completely up to you. All right? So that's completely up to you, whether you do that or not. All right? Okay, so we've got that. And once we choose, here we go. Here is Perforce in all of its glory. Right now it's completely empty. There's nothing here. So let's look around real quick here. Okay, so over here, Depot, or you'll notice there's a Depot and a Workspace tab here. That represents, the Workspace tab represents that folder in your desktop that we created. All right, the Depot represents the server. All right, if we click on that, we can actually open this up. Right now, there is nothing in there. All right, completely empty. All right, if we go back to Workspace, which we should, make sure that tab is forward. It says where your workspace is. So this is going to show you the files that are in that area. To the right of that, we'll have a list of files and maybe things that are going on with it. Below it, we have details about the file and tabs here of see who it's checked out by, and sometimes we can even preview files. All right. Now, down at the bottom here is the log. So this is telling us what Perforce is doing. All right, gives us any sort of messages and lets us see what's going on. Now, one of the important things while we work through this, make sure it's scrolled all the way to the bottom so I can see what you have as the last thing. Because the way I'm going to check your work is what you're going to do is you're going to submit screenshots. All right. And I need to see the last things that are happening in your log to be able to grade what you're doing. All right. So let's go ahead and take our first screenshot. All right. So you can go in here, go into search and just type snipping tool. All right. So we're going to go to snipping tool. So the snipping tool is a screenshot utility. Unfortunately, Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom, can you detect my sarcasm, is trying to remove this because I don't know why. It's an awesome piece of software. All right, so this is the snipping tool. Some of you may be used to doing hitting print screen. That certainly works, but this is a better tool for it. All right, so this allows us to use multiple modes for this. So the mode here allows us to choose how we want this to look. So one of them here is full screen snip. All right, so a full screen snip takes a screenshot of your entire screen, including all your screens. So everything here. So if you have multiple screens, it will screenshot both of them. You may want that, but in this case, it's not terribly useful. So I'm going to switch over here to my favorite one here. It's Window Snip. All right, so Window Snip allows us to choose a specific window. Now, you will notice here that Perforce is highlighted, but if you look down at the bottom of my screen, you'll notice my taskbar is kind of light. It's kind of light. You know how like things when they stop responding? Yeah, that's what it is. You know, if I move my cursor over it, I can take a screenshot of that if I really want to. But yeah, so you click on the window that you want to take a screenshot of. All right, and the nice thing is it cuts out your background. So if you have anything on there you don't want people to see, or you have windows open that you don't want people to see, this is perfect. All right. So once we've done that, we can do things like we can even mark on this. So we can say, files, details, down here, log. So we can do things like that. We can even highlight stuff. Like, did you forget to hit this button? Yeah, we have all those kind of things, and it's really cool. And if you're in Discord, like, we don't even need to save this. I can here edit copy, and I can go over to Discord and immediately, like, paste it right in. Just paste and hit enter. So it's very useful. It's very useful. Now, if you need to save this, like, let's say you're turning something in. Imagine that, right? We can save it right here. We just hit the save button. All right, and we can save. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to create a folder called, I'm going to right click in this folder, Perforce Selfies. And go in there. All right, and I'm going to name this file, and you should too. Perforce. Actually, last name underscore install. So your last name underscore install. So your last name, not my last name. All right, and then we're going to save that. All right, once you've done that, congratulations. You now have a 20 on your assignment. All right. So we can do other things as well. We can choose different modes. We can do a rectangular snip. Hit new here. We can specifically say, I want this area. We also have a freeform snip. And, okay, Daryl, don't draw that. Don't draw that. Don't draw that. All right. So we can specifically select what we want to take a screenshot of, and it's very useful. So you can like cut out information you don't want people to see or have any chance of seeing. So there is that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and minimize this because we're going to use this 4 more times. Okay, cool. Questions so far? So we're saving that as our last name underscore install. By the way, make sure when you save, it's best to do like JPEG or GIF or something like that. PNG is okay. Whatever you want. Okay, so let's continue on here. All right, so we've got our files up here. There's nothing currently listed, right? So let's fix that problem. All right, so I'm going to go find a file. All right, let's see. Let's go to my desktop. All right, I happen to have some stuff here. Let's see. All right, let's use the requisite cat picture, right? All right, so remember, what has been seen cannot be unseen. So we're going to use this one, right? Okay, so I'm just going to right click on it, choose copy. All right, I'm going to go back to that folder. So let's go ahead and go to there, go to C drive, and then go to Perforce underscore workspace, that directory we initially created. And we're going to paste it in here. Twink. All right, so we've got a picture here. Now, let's go back here, and one of the things, Perforce may not see it yet, all right? Perforce is kind of lazy sometimes, and it doesn't always show up, and hey, this is the first time this has happened. Usually, you have to hit the refresh button here, all right? So if it's not showing up, make sure that you have the Workspace tab open here, and you've hit the refresh button, all right? Whoa! Yeah, if you could not spam right now, thank you very much. So, yeah, so hit refresh until it shows up. So there is a little like piece of paper here. See this little piece of paper? There's nothing on it. And that basically represents the fact that this file is not being managed by the system. So it's just seeing it there. So, all right. So what we want to do is we want to make sure this file is being managed. All right. So if we look here where it says add, see this button here that says add, we're going to click on that. All right. And it's going to pop open a little window. All right. So this little window here says select a pending change list. Now, when you are setting these things up, when you are adding files or changing files, it's really nice to tell the other people what you're doing. So if it's an initial add, say, we want to, after an initial add, we want to say, hey, this file is for this. Or when we make a change, we want to say, I made these changes to it. Wrong spelling, Daryl? Yeah, put that in, put the file into the Perforce workspace directory. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit new. All right. So I'm going to go new. I'm going to type something in here. Add file. So I'm going to hit OK on that. And now, if you look really, really closely, you'll see a 6 pixel high red plus. All right. So what this means is the file has been marked for adding. Now, it's not on the server yet. It's not officially on the server yet. But the system is ready for it. Now, the reason why we have this is sometimes you're going to be transferring large files. All right. And you don't want it to transfer immediately, but you want it to say, hey, I'm going to add this file, get it ready. All right. So let's say you're making a cutscene. All right. And it's like you're thinking ahead in the future. So you're rendering the cutscene as 8K uncompressed frames. So, yeah. So, yeah, well, you don't want to send that off immediately because your computer becomes busy and whatever. So maybe you want to do that during lunch or when you go home. So you can fire that off then. But we want to send this one right now. So we're going to select it. All right. We're going to select it and hit submit. All right. We're going to make it submit to our will. All right. So we've add file here. So we'll hit submit here. Okay. All right. So you will notice now that there is a kind of a little green dot next to that. All right. The little green dot says, hey, this is the latest version of the file. All right. So latest version of the file. And you'll notice here, there's a thing here that says number 1 of 1. That's not hashtag 1 of 1. That's number 1 of 1. Means there is one version of the file, and this is that first version. All right. So this is the first version of one version. Means we have the latest. When these two numbers match, yeah, we're good to go. We have the latest one. All right. So it even tells us things about it. Says dimensions, 400 by 300, all kinds of really cool stuff. So right now, this file is in our depot. All right, so if we go back here to depot, there's our file. It's on our server. Okay, so we've got that. All right, so that's doing it once, and that's good. We should do this again because, it's very important that you be able to add files. All right. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go back to the folder, and I'm going to create some. All right, so I'm going to right click in here, right click in the menu here, or in the folder, and I'm going to go to new and choose text document. Not rich text document, because I don't want to need to deal with Word. Just plain text document here. All right, and I'm going to name this one items. Okay, so I've named this one items, and I'm going to go ahead and modify it here. So I'm just going to double click on it and open it in Notepad. So first thing I want you to do is we're going to fill in some items that we might carry on an adventure. So what kind of items might we carry on an adventure? Anybody? Like, I don't know, a map maybe? Satchel? Sure. Maybe an extra bag. Smoky treat. Cash. Shovel? Sure. What else? Boomstick. All right. We'll take that. Okay. What else? Okay. Well, we'll do this. That'll cover multiple things, right? Okay. Obviously we need as well, and why not? There we go. So we've got some stuff. So let's go ahead and save this file. Save. So I'm doing this way so you can see that I'm saving stuff. All right. So I've got that file in there. And I'm going to right click and create another one. So right click, new, and then text document. Okay. Once we have that, let's create a bad passwords. Bad_passwords file. All right, so this is going to be a list of files that we do not accept as a user, for a user to create because they're bad. All right. And then one last thing that we're going to bring in. So let's see if I can find that folder here. Here we go. Here's the browser. All right, so we're going to bring in the syllabus. You have read that, right? So to find the syllabus, if you go over here to the left-hand side, you see About. So we're going to click on About here real quick. And you're looking here for the this one right here, the GDN 1151_course syllabus. All right, so we'll just click on that, and we're going to save this. We're just going to go up here to the upper right-hand corner, hit download on that, and we'll save it to that folder directly. So if you have Chrome, you can do this. Otherwise, you'll download it and then copy it where you want it. So, okay, so Perforce workspace. So I'm just going to save this directly into that directory. All right, and there we have all the files there. Cool. So let me go ahead and go back in here to Perforce. And they should show up eventually. Again, otherwise you can hit refresh up here. Or you can hit F5 if you want. Okay. So we have all the files here. You'll notice just that one is being managed right now. So we need to go ahead and add the rest of them. I'm just going to select them all. I'm just going to left mouse drag right here to select them all. And then I'm going to hold down Control and deselect the one that's already added. All right. Left mouse drag, select, hold down Control and deselect that. All right. So once we've done that, we're going to go up here and hit the appropriately named button up here, add. So we're going to mark it for adding. Doink. And this one I'm just going to ignore for now. So I'm going to hit OK on this. And you'll notice they're all marked for adding. All right, so I have that little red plus there. All right, so I'm going to hit submit here because I want it to submit to the server. All right, now you'll notice this time, since I didn't type something in, it has this angry red text here. That's its way of saying that you need to fill this in. Because if I try to hit submit, it's not going to like it much. So let's go ahead and add more files. All right, see, it's much happier now. And one of the things that we can look up here, you'll notice these checks next to the files here. We can tell it whether we want to transfer that file or not. So if you want to save that another one for later, you can do that. All right, so we'll hit submit here. And now it's transferred all those files. All right, this is going to be very quick for two reasons. First of all, our server is on our local machine. Well, I guess three reasons. Server's on our local machine, so it doesn't have to go across the network. Second, we're transferring on a solid state drive, right? From one place to another, so it's pretty stinking fast, right? And third, these are really small files. So this is going to be really fast in this instance, but if you're working on a remote machine with bigger files, then it's going to take you a lot longer. All right, just keep that in mind. Okay, so now we have all those 4 files in there. Again, they all have the green dot on it saying this is the latest version. And we can see all this stuff happening down here. So the first one, it says add the funny picture scared cat.jpg. So one open for add, and below that we have the list of the files that we added here. So all 3 of them: bad passwords, the syllabus, and text items.txt. And it says 3 files open for add. Submitted change to. Cool. So this is showing me what you've done here. Again, make sure this is at the very bottom, where I can see the last things that you've done. All right, again, you're going to notice it says revision number 1 of 1. This is the first one of them all. Okay, cool. Let's take a screenshot. So I'm going to change my mode back here to Windows Snip. All right, and then hit new. All right, I'm going to select the window I want there, and that's the one I want. Cool, it's got everything. Let's go ahead and save this one. And this one is going to be your last name underscore add. No, not add. Wow, I about did it again. No, okay, yeah, we're going to do add. So, sorry. So on the video on FSO, I tell you to use add a second time. Whoops. So yes, this one we want to be add. Our last name underscore add. So we're going to hit save on that. Congratulations. If you've completed this far, you now have a 40. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. So I'm going to minimize this for now. All right, so we've got all these files here. Let's go ahead and modify some of them. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the folder here. And let's go ahead and go into bad passwords. I'm going to open that up. Let's add some passwords. All right, that we don't want. Some bad passwords here, right? Let's see. What other kind of passwords that you see here? that shouldn't be in there. WordPass, sure. Spot. Right? Cookie, yeah. Those are all bad passwords. Fantastic. Some of you are going, oh crap. I need to change my password, right? All right, so one of the things I want to point out here. Oh yeah. What is it? There we go. So you'll notice here at the top, in this case, this version of Notepad happens to give us a little bit more here. You'll notice there's a little asterisk right here. That means the file is changed since your last save, or it's never been saved. So we're going to save this. We're going to go here to File and choose Save. Oh, it popped up the Save As. Okay, what did it save? Yes, I want to overwrite the file. Oh boy. So you notice here it says, this file is set to read only. Try again with a different name. All right, this is it, thunking you on the head, when it goes up and goes thunk on your head. You know what I'm talking about? This is saying, hey, jerkface, you messed up. So I'm going to hit OK on this and just going to cancel the save here. I'm not going to close it out because I want to keep that data. There is a step that we need to take when we want to modify a file, and that's to check out the file. We need to tell the system, hey, I want to modify this file. Let everybody else know that I'm working on it right now and don't mess with it. So I'm going to go in here to bad passwords and I'm going to check out the file. Now, it's a really, complicated button. Maybe it's kind of obscure that we're going to do. We're going to hit the checkout button. Imagine that. Okay, so I'm going to fill this in. Hit new, more passwords. Hit OK on that. All right. And you'll notice there is a red check mark on that now. That means you have checked out that file. It is ready for you to edit. So I'm going to go here and save this file. Save. Hey, look, it did it without whining this time. It's because it's checked out and it's no longer read only. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. All right. And now we need to send that off to the server. All right. Because the server doesn't know about the changes yet. It knows that we got it checked out, but it can't see them. All right. So we're going to hit the submit button here. And see, it has our previous change there. If you need to change that, you can just, do what you need to. So we'll hit submit on that. Okay. So you'll notice here that says number 2 of 2. Okay. Number 2 of 2. That means we are on the second version of 2. All right. If it said 1 of 2, it means someone's modified it on the outside and you still have an old version of it. And you can click on it and hit get latest to get it back. But all right, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and modify the another file here just to get some more practice on this. So I'm going to go down here to items.txt and I'm going to check it out. But this time, instead of hitting the checkout button, I want to show you something. I'm going to right click on the file and we're going to go down here to checkout and open. All right, so this file is a text file, so we already have something. We have a program associated with it, so we can do this. So I'm going to hit checkout and open. It's going to give us the pending change list. We'll use default for now. I'm going to hit OK on that. And it's going to check it out for us. See, it's got it checked out, and it's opened it for us. All right. So what else are we going to carry on this? Nothing, guys? Okay. How about pointy stick? Okay. But I'm all out of it. So let me go ahead and save this. File, save. Oh, Evan's got something to add. Here, he's got it. So the nice thing is we can actually make, we can still make changes, even though we've only checked it out once. We can make continuous changes if we want. Cool. All right. So I'm going to save this here as well. This will be considered kind of one revision here. All right. So I've got it saved. I'm going to close it out. And I'm going to submit the changes. So make sure it's highlighted and hit submit. All right. More stuff. Hit submit. And there we go. And that one's 2 of 2 as well. All right. So again, make sure you're at the bottom over here. Let's go ahead and take a screenshot of this. All right. We'll hit new. Okay. And we're going to select the window. And we're going to save this. This one will be the last name. Underscore commit or submit. Either one is fine. All right, because we're committing or submitting our work. All right, this is the one I messed up in the video there. So I'm gonna hit save on this. Congratulations, you now have a 60. Cool. All right. So we have these files in here, right? Now, imagine this. You're working on a new feature for your game, one that your boss said you needed to do, all right? Or better yet, remember that video we worked on? Let's say you want us to make a change to it. All right, so you've already submitted that. It has you do a few changes to it, and then you go ahead and commit it in there to make sure it's in there. And oh no, that's not what I wanted. Here's what I want. Okay, you make another change. He keeps coming by and doing that, And then finally he's like, you know what? I liked the way it was originally. Let's go ahead and go back to that one. After he walks away and you have some choice words in your mind, you're like, right? We can actually go back to previous versions. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and roll back a change. So we're going to go to items here. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to right click on the file here, on the file. All right, so I'm going to go down here, and we're going to find rollback. See where it says rollback here? So let's see, 5th from the bottom. Choose rollback. Okay. So this rollback file here, this is saying we want to go back to previous version. Now, by default, it says, do you want to go, you go directly to the previous revision of it. Since there's only one previous revision, this is really the only one that makes sense. But if you have multiple in there, you can actually go roll back to this right here. It says rollback file to revision, and we could enter a specific revision of the file. All right, so that's pretty useful, right? So I'm just gonna roll back to the previous one here. All right, so this is kind of evil here. So we're so used to the submit button being on the left-hand side of the 3. They just wanted to mess us up. So we're going to hit submit here. All right. So we're going to hit submit. All right. And it automatically fills in our change list for us. Rollback items.txt to revision 1. All right. And submit is back here where it is. Now, you're going to see this down here. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You will learn more about dealing with that in a future course. All right. Just for now, don't worry about it. So I'm going to hit submit on here. And we have made the change. We've rolled it back to a previous version. You'll notice it's number 3 of 3. So what it's really done is it's went back, grabbed that original version, and submitted it as the latest one. So if we double click on it, you can actually open the original version of the file. Now, occasionally I have the question, can I roll back a rollback? And the answer is yes. So if we right click on the file again, go to rollback, and we're going to roll back the previous one here. We'll hit submit. Doink. Submit. And we're on number 4 of 4, right? Hey, look, our stuff's back. And yes, you can roll back or roll back or roll back. So it literally just goes and grabs the one you want and puts it in the front. Cool? All right. Let's take a screenshot. New. Click. Save. Last name. Underscore rollback. Okay. We'll save. All right. So congratulations, you have a 60 now, right? No, 80. Cool. All right, minimize this. Now, I want to do something here. All right. You don't have to follow along, especially if this makes you nervous. But sometimes things go wrong. Like really, 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 really wrong. Like, oh no, my files are gone. Like, oh no, even empty the recycle bin gone. All right? Like, it's gone. You're like, no! It could be anything that's caused this. Disgruntled employee, whatever. Virus killing it. Whatever reason why. And those files are gone, right? You're like, oh no. And we can look on Perforce. And in fact, if we update the workspace here, you'll notice the files will just disappear from there. You're like, right? But if we look back here on Depot, the files still exist on the Depot. All right, so that's good because we can just select these, right? And we can right click on them and choose Get Revision. All right, what this will do is it'll allow us to restore the files. So we have all the files that we are interested in this list right here. So we can add or remove more files if we need to. We can choose which revision we want. So the latest revision is going to grab the latest version of all those files, or we can say which one we want. All right. But before we can go ahead and hit Get Revision on that and get our files back, we have to tell Perforce that we really want these files because it's going to look at what it sees that you've acquired already, or what you have, and go, well, you already have these files. I don't need to do anything. So what you need to do is choose this first option here, Force Operation. All right. Now, if you're really nervous and you have some of your files here, you can choose a safe update. Won't overwrite files that were changed without being checked out. Yeah, you can do that as well. Okay, so I've got Force Operation here. So we'll hit Get Revision. And now we can go back here to Workspace. Hey, look, they're all back. Look, our files are back in the folder. Yay, right? Okay, one final thing that we want to do here is let's get rid of a file. All right, so let's say this file does not make us happy, so we're going to get rid of it. So we select it and we hit the delete button here with the minus symbol on it. We're going to mark it for delete. We'll give it a pending change list. We'll hit OK on that. And you'll notice the file goes away immediately. All right. It's even removed from our folder. All right. But it's not completely gone yet. If we go over back to our depot, you'll notice the file is still there, but it has a red X on it. It means it's been marked for deletion on the server. All right. So to make sure it's gone out of this list so other people don't have to see it, we're going to submit that change. We'll hit submit on that. And I'll just hit submit here. And that file is removed from this list. Now, that file's not gone forever. We can get it back if we want. So don't put your world domination plans in there and hopefully nobody will find it, because they will. All right. So it is very easy to get those files back. All right. So let's go ahead and take a screenshot of this. Choose new. Select that. Let's go ahead and save it. All right. Our last name _ delete. Okay, and we're going to save that. Okay. So those are all the 5 files that you need. Okay. So important. For you guys that are on campus, in the little text box below where you turn in your files, I want you to go ahead and put in here. Just type the word here. All right. So if we go in here, version control assignment. So you'll turn in your files, you'll drag them into the completion area. In the feedback, type here. So if you're online, don't worry about it. But if you are on campus, make sure you type in the word here into the feedback. All right. Cool. All right. So when you're turning in the files, please do not zip them up. Please do not put them in a document. Don't do anything like that. Just put all 5 files. You install, add, rollback. You missed commit. All right, so put them all in here. Don't zip them. Don't put them in a document. Don't put them in one image. There should be 5 files total. All right. Mick is panicking right now, right? Message me later. Yeah, commit or submit. They both work. Message me later and we'll deal with that, Mick. Okay. Cool. Now this is for everybody as well. Please make sure that you follow or that you take the importance of following directions test here. This is very important. Read all the instructions. It should be painful to do. All right. Shh. Don't say anything about the test. Evan, don't say anything. Or Mick, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Shh. Reginald. Shh. Crackhead. Alright. So, nope. It's very important that you follow directions. Okay, so vocab tests are very easy because it's all open, everything except other students. All right. The vocabulary right here. These are all terms that you should know, at least look at. All right. So when we talk about something, you might be interested in knowing what it actually means, because some of these will actually have different names or have different meaning between a person who is in the industry and who's not. All right. So yeah, make sure you read over these. So it's kind of important. You can get this. You can actually have this tab open and another tab open. I really just want you to see the terms and be able to, put them in fairly easily. All right. Cool. Okay. So, again, if you want to rewatch this video at a later time, I have to wait 24 hours from the start of the recording to repost it. It's rules of Twitch. So just keep that in mind. I will post it as soon as I can. So yeah, and by the way, don't wait to the last minute to do your work, because things go wrong. I mean, we just saw this this week, right? The hurricanes coming through, right? We have some out in the Atlantic right now that are kind of lining up. So please make sure you get your work done as early as you can. All right. And if you need an extension for a good reason, make sure you message your instructor before it is due. All right. That's very important. Before it's due. I mean, if you're dead in the hospital, and you can, kind of prove that, sure, we can handle that kind of problem, but just make sure that we know ahead of time if you can. Okay? Because we want to get you into the kind of, how should I put it? Brain fart here. We want to get you into the mode of letting people know things before things happen. Yeah. Oh, you can prove if you're dead. Doctor gives you a special note. So we want you to, let people know, give people a heads up before things happen. Because there's nothing worse than, oh, hey, I'm about to get this, and then, surprise! No, you're not. If you ever done like a Kickstarter where they're late and they don't tell you anything about it until it's after then, you're like, oh, I should be getting it any day now. No. So, yeah, don't do that. Let us know ahead of time. All right. So there is a document here, just so you know, contacting your instructor. All right. This one's kind of important. This document is the best way to get a hold of us. All right. So for me, the best way to get a hold of me is here on the Discord server, because I'll see this pretty much immediately as soon as I get a chance. I mean, if I'm like driving, I'm not going to see it, or I'm eating, or playing a game, or I'm in lecture, I won't see it. But I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. If it's a private matter, you can message me through it. That's cool. Again, if you could, make sure that you have your real name in there and your section number as well. So that's the number right over here. So right now I'm looking at last month's section 1. All right. So if you're online, you're 00. I'm going to ignore you guys if you're online, because you got me in class. So but at the others, please make sure that you have that that section number. So if I need to look something up on you to help you with your stuff, it's a lot easier. Also, if you could please use your real name. What was it? Someone in here was Mr. Lumberjack. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who you are. Or McTech. I have no idea who you are. Crackhead. I know you're playing WoW, but I don't know who you are. So, yeah, if you could have your actual name in there, that would be cool. All right. Just FYI. Cool. All right, so if you guys have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them here. So you did the assignment on Monday. Okay, good. Did you mess something up? If you did, you can always resubmit. You can submit the files again, and I will see that. You didn't have to redo anything. Yeah, if you did it right the first time, that's cool. Like I said, this is a special extended version specifically for on campus as well, and you online guys got a live lecture. So no, Doug, if you got basically everything right that I was showing you on there, you're cool. What else? Cool. Thank you, Ryan. Guess I'll see you tomorrow then. So yes, on campus. Yes, we have a Saturday lecture. And that's normal for us. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I will still be on Discord for a little bit if you wish to ask questions. So, yeah. Oh, unless we got other questions coming in here real quick. Whole bunch of coming in, right? Yes, I know. I didn't choose a 9 a.m. Usually I'm at 11, so when I'm in the mornings. Yes, Merrick, yes. Like I said, Twitch requires you to wait 24 hours before you post a recording. It's just one of the rules. If you ever read the terms of service, that's things that are required. So, yeah. I will try to post this recording at 8 p.m. tomorrow to make sure it's up. So it may be delayed a little bit depending on, I have to encode the file and all that stuff. So, yeah. All right. You can find that when I do post it. I'm gonna, no, it won't be available on Twitch. I don't save that stuff on Twitch. So I will post a link here and in the Q&A section here. So if you drop back here, so you found the link here, Design Tools Weekly Q&A. I will fill it in right here. This is an older version of it. So for on campus, yeah, so it'll be listed right there. On campus, just you're gonna have to look here in the Discord server. So, oh, they won't hear it. So, all right, cool. All right, so I am going to end this now.